Hey, hey. Okay, so I'm in here talking to myself. And those of you that know me know I don't have a problem with that. So, as you can see from the title, I am going to be talking. And no, I have not done my nails yet. Maybe I'll do that once I get off this live. But anyway, I just want to kind of talk celebrity news, celebrity stuff, and just kind of really not necessarily talk about the celebrities, but talk about the bigger picture. The bigger picture for in both of these stories that I want to talk about. So, hey, hey, to that one person, I don't know who you are. Welcome back. So again, the first thing that I want to discuss is Nikkietutorials coming out as transgender. Needless to say, I am absolutely shook, and it's probably not for the reason that you would think. Just as a backstory, Nikkietutorials is a famous YouTuber, influencer, however you want to call it. And she does beauty stuff and different things like that. And today I was scrolling, preparing for subjects on something else. And I saw that she had a story and that she had came out as transgender. And again, I was shook. And not because of what you probably think the reason is. I was, number one, I think it's unfortunate, and that's where the conversation is going to go. I'm not really going to talk about her being transgender or whatever, because that's literally her prerogative. But one shout out to her. I was talking to someone about it because I was absolutely shook, and he was like, kudos to her. Because part of my shooketh is the fact that she does not look like she has a trace of he anywhere. Like, that's why the number one reason why I was shook. I was like, there's no way. Like, no. So I read the article and everything, and I was like, what? Like, wow. Just absolutely blown away. So kudos to her if that's a such thing. I mean that with all due respect to Nikkietutorials. But the bigger picture on that, and yes, I'm going to be doing my makeup as we talk. The bigger picture on that conversation about Nikkietutorials is, I think it's unfortunate for anyone to try to gain fame on her. So she was forced to come out, basically. And let me see. Not so good. But anyway, she was forced to come out. And so that's why she came out as transgender, because somebody was trying to blackmail her. And I think that that's ridiculous. I think that it's unfortunate that we live in a society that will kind of force people to do stuff like that. Like, are we to the point in America where, you know, money is driving us to that point where it's like, you know, I remember with Kevin Hart's story, he came out with his little infidelity crap, which is a whole nother thing, but he came out with his infidelity stuff because somebody was blackmailing him. And then, so that's the conversation that, you know, I want to kind of talk about is like, okay, how have we come to this in America where it's like, you know what, I'm going to take this deep, dark thing, whether it's a horrible secret or not, and I'm going to try to gain fame from it. And also I'm going to force you to pay me or else I'm going to sell this story. Like, I can't even, what I'm doing is I'm color correcting in this area. I have on contacts now, but typically I'll have on glasses, and they usually leave a very, very, like an indentation here. And so we just gonna talk. First thing I did was I put on my beauty primer, and I color correcting with LA Pro concealer. So I think that's fortunate. I don't think that anyone has a right to try to blackmail her into coming out with her story. Like I said, I was completely shook for a completely different reason, because like I said, when you look at her, she looks all woman. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing. Science is amazing. and just, you know, makeup and everything else. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. But again, just having this conversation about blackmail, like, that is absolutely not right. Like, it's not right. And is that what we have come to as Americans in America? I don't think so. Like, she should have been able to live her life however she felt like she needed to live it, whether we agree with it or not. Like, I don't think it's no different. I think it's no different than if she was trying to live a certain way and was going on dates as a female and not being honest. Do I think that transgender should, and I'm going into a whole different conversation, but do I think transgender should open up on the first date and tell people, hey, I'm transgender? No, not necessarily. That's not what that's for. But I think it should be within the first couple of dates. Like, that's not fair to the person that may be hetero. But again, that opens up a whole nother conversation, because are you dating, are you pulling people from a dating app that's for transgender, whatever? That's a conversation that's above me. It's above me. So, Nikkietutorials, blackmail, not right. It's not right. I don't think it's right. And so, unfortunately, she was forced to come out in that manner. And I know for me, it makes me see her differently, just from the fact that, obviously, I mean, it's the obvious. But like I said before, kudos to her, because I couldn't tell one way, or I couldn't tell one way or another. But would it stop me from watching her tutorials? Absolutely not. Like, no, absolutely not. It doesn't make me stop watching her. It doesn't make me any of that, And if somebody was coming on here expecting me to bash, that's not where I'm about. Like, that's not my thing. That's not my thing at all. So that's that conversation about Miss Nikkietutorials. I think that anybody that's trying to, hopefully the person that's trying to extort her for money or anything like that, hopefully they are going to be found out, maybe charged, because it's not okay to do that. Like, I don't care. It's not okay. It's not okay at all. So you know what? I was going to go in with my Fenty. I'm going, because I haven't used my Fenty. And I was telling you guys last week that I was running out of my Fenty and I need to go to the store. And I still really do. But I bought the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, and I used it. I absolutely love it. But I am a Fenty girl. I love my Fenty, and I want to go back to it today as we are talking. So back to the next thing that we were discussing. And if you haven't checked out my videos, check out my video on brows. I have a video that I'm editing now, because I kind of take on false lashes. If you don't know and you're kind of just browsing my channel, I don't wear, I need to get this mirror out, because I'm trying to work to webcam and it ain't happening for me. But anyway, I don't wear the false lashes. And so when I went to Sephora Ulta last weekend, I did this whole great big haul, but then I got some lashes that were kind of my speed, because the lashes nowadays are just a bit too much for me. But anyway, I tried them on. I have a video, and I'll let you know if I conquered them or not. It's hilarious. So that should tell you right there what happened. But anyway, so Nikkietutorials, we are done with that conversation. It's unfortunate. And if anybody that is trying to extort her for her story, for her life, no one should be extorted for their life. Like, come on. No. So, Miss Nikkie, that was a brave thing to do, because I'm sure if you didn't do it before, then it probably wasn't something that you wanted to do. So I'm glad that, she's living in her truth, and whatever that means. And there you go on that. So the next thing that I have is Mr. R. Kelly. Mr. R. Kelly. And here's the thing with me. I really don't even want to talk about him per se. I want to talk about these young ladies. I want to talk about the young ladies, and I want to talk about them fighting. And I want to talk about the fact that the bigger conversation should be, how did those girls end up there? And why are we just now finding out about this within the recent years? Okay. That's my bigger issue. Now, I will put a disclaimer. As a mother, parent to parent, I will not break the code and blame you in the sense. Now, if those parents are actually to blame, then that's a conversation we can have on another day. But for R. Kelly and these girls, how? How did they end up there? And when the parents saw, okay, this man is crazy, how come they didn't go to the police before a year ago, before Surviving R. Kelly came out and all of that? Why? So again, I really am not trying to rehash this whole R. Kelly stuff and all that, because we could spend all day and night talking about Mr. R. Kelly and his exploits. And to be perfectly honest with you, it's exhausting. It's exhausting if you have daughters. It causes great anxiety because I'm thinking to myself, I know, now when my daughter's like, hey, I want to do blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, because you're not about to get R. Kelly. You're not about to get R. Kelly. But again, back to the all seriousness of the conversation. Like, for me, up into recent years, after this whole Surviving R. Kelly, the series and all of that started, hey, I see you 12 people. How you doing? I am just talking and doing makeup. I'm not really, it's just me, Missy, doing makeup and talking. Leave a comment down below. Chat it up. Let me know what you think about what we're talking about. You missed the Nikkietutorials. We talked about Nikkie already. I may do a recap, but right now we're on R. Kelly and his girlfriend. So if you're here and you're like, okay, well, what happened? What's the new thing? Well, from what I understand, the two girlfriends got into a fight last week. Azriel Clary and Jocelyn, I don't know their last names, but anyway, they have to move out of the Trump Tower. And during their moving out of the Trump Tower, they got into a fight. And obviously R. Kelly is in jail. And so in the process of them getting into a fight, one girl began to say, hey, talking to the Jocelyn girl, she was like, hey, I know where the dead bodies are at. I know what Rob did. I know this. Like, she started spilling the tea on the live. So then as I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, so here's my question to you. And she was like, and Rob's been lying to everyone, and I'm going to tell how he's been lying, and I've been lying for him. And I'm just like, my heart, again, I don't even want to talk about R. Kelly, because I pray that the courts will do whatever it needs to do to expose this situation or whatever. But the bigger conversation should be, for me, about these girls, because I'm an older woman, much older than them. They're old enough to be my daughters. And as a disclaimer, again, talking about R. Kelly, I'm not going to blame the parents in the sense of these are girls that are over 18. And if you have kids over the age of 13, your kids will be raised, and you can be in the most perfect home, but they will do something to make you say, who the hell raised you? So I'm not going to dare blame the parents unless there is concrete evidence to suggest that they exploited their children in this situation, which could be a part of the conversation that we're happening. Because when you think about, so I'm going to go in and we're going to start these eyes as best I can. Again, I'm working towards my webcam. I usually work towards a mirror, but anyway, which is a conversation that's valid. Like, I'm not going to say it's not a valid conversation, especially since a lot of these girls got with R. Kelly when they were minors. So that tells me, or that raises a question for me, like, okay, how did he get access to them? And so now here they are, 21, 25, however old they are. And now it's coming out like, oh, Jocelyn and, Azriel and whoever else, they've been, in the Trump Tower, and they're living there, and, they're lying for Rob, as they call him. And so I guess the question for me is sort of 2 and 3 and 4-fold. Do we trust celebrities so much? Do we trust celebrities too much? Do we trust celebrities too much to the point where we really think we know them? And is the price of fame worth your kids' mental health, their health, physical health? Is it worth them not having a childhood? Like, is that even okay? Like, again, I don't know because I was not there. But I know that at some point, these parents definitely found out that R. Kelly was crazy. Even if it's just from the standpoint of your kid's not calling home anymore and they're saying they don't want to call home anymore. What do you do? Because again, like I said, they're over 18. They're over 18. So, you know, it warrants the conversation for me in that I know that one of the girls they were talking about, you know, she met R. Kelly at a concert and, you know, the dad was like, hey, you know, some kind of way she met R. Kelly or his handlers, however it happened. And she ended up being allowed to go on tour with him and everything else like that. Is that something that we should be so comfortable in doing with celebrities, and no matter how much we think we know them? That's my question. Again, I'm not even discussing R. Kelly. I'm talking about the bigger picture. The bigger picture. You know, as much as I love certain celebrities, I don't know if I can just sit and allow my child to just go on tour with them and not communicate with me and be okay with that. And the problem is, you know, we haven't really heard of any police reports up until this point or anything. And I watched the first Surviving R. Kelly. I did not watch the second one. It's a bit too much for me. It's too much. It's just a little too much. Oh, I lost a lot of people. I guess y'all said we don't want to hear nothing about no R. Kelly, and that's fine. But I think, you know, people, they're focusing the conversation on R. Kelly. But I think oh boy, I'm frozen. Okay, I'm back. I think the bigger conversation should be on the girls. How did they get there? You know, and then at this point, you have the one girl saying, you know, I know everything and all of that. So now, is she gonna talk? Is she gonna talk to the feds? What's going on? How do our girls get there? How, you know, are we chasing fame so much? Are we chasing fame so much that we are allowing our daughters to see certain celebrities? You know, which brings me to, and again, there's 2 sides, 3 sides to every story. Plus, these are adult girls. You know, you have some people looking at Future and Lori Harvey and like, oh, poor Lori. Lori's an adult. At the end of the day, Lori's an adult, regardless of what you feel about Future, regardless of how you feel about Future. Future's an adult and Lori is an adult. That's the bottom line. He could have serial peen, meaning he chooses to go from person to person, woman to woman, however that, you know, that may be what it looks like to us, you know, because we don't know. But at the end of the day, the part that gets me is 2 things. Number one, if he is dogging like we suspect he is, how do we get our girls from not thinking that that's cute to be involved with somebody like that? Okay. How do we get, how do we do that? Leave a comment. And the second thing is, leave a comment. Again, do you think the parents really should be blamed? When you're talking to Lori Harvey, when you're talking to Ezriel Clary and Jocelyn, I forgot her last name, you know, R. Kelly's girls. Should we blame the parents in these situations when these are adult people? These are adults. And I'm here to tell you, like I said before, your children will do things that will cause you to say, who raised you? So in these parents' defense, unless they have been known to actually exploit their kids, I personally don't think that the parents should be to blame. But also, I think a lot of this stuff is just a reflection of who we are in America. Like, honestly, I'm not trying to be the Debbie Downer, and some people think this stuff is cute and all this other stuff, but there's a bigger conversation that can be and should be had about me turn off this light. Maybe gives no, heck no. There's a conversation that can be and should be had about why R. Kelly was allowed to do what he was allowed to do for as long as he was allowed to do it. That's a conversation within itself, you know. Future and Lori Harvey and all of that, like it's fun. It's funny. Like the memes are hilarious. Like, but at the end of the day, I know me as a mom, you look at your kids and when they are adults, the part that we don't see is the phone calls from Steve Harvey or from that we're assuming happens, you know? We don't see that. So Lori is grown. And if you've been on this earth longer than 20 years, you know that after or under a certain age, unfortunately, we kind of tend to know everything. And you gotta just let her do what she need to do. You know, and maybe that's what R. Kelly's girlfriends, his victims, maybe that's what their parents, you know, because I know if you follow the story, the one girl's dad, he just wanted to be able to be in contact with his daughter. He's like, you know what? She's an adult. At the end of the day, she's an adult. And so I just want to be able to be in contact with my daughter. And so that's the conversation that I'm having. Like at the end of the day, he did what he felt like was right by his daughter, which was, hey, go with R. Kelly. But should he, you know, here's the conversation. Should he have gone to the police sooner? Was he awestruck with and about the about R. Kelly's fame? Were people around R. Kelly enabling him? Because these are the questions that I have. I want to know where's his handlers, his manager, like people were around R. Kelly and saw that he was doing this to these girls and they kept quiet. That is a problem. People were around R. Kelly and they said, you know, people did plane tickets to get these kids out here. People were around him. Like he didn't just do this. He had a whole network, a very intricate network of people. And shout out to Tasha K, because she is the person, I mean, I follow her and she bust this story wide open a long time ago. And now everything is coming to light and everything else like that. And I'm just having a little baby conversation compared to the stuff that she talks about. Because for me, I want to take the conversation to a whole nother level besides the facts of, oh my gosh, they're so crazy. He peed on him. He made him eat poop, blah, 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 all that other crazy nonsense stuff. The bigger picture is how did they get there and how did they stay? And how are we just now finding out about that? Because I didn't know. I didn't know until recent years. And then there's some people like, oh, I knew with the Aaliyah thing and all of that. Well, I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy that he had people around him basically to enable him into that lifestyle. Okay, I'm going to reach down and get my palette. Hold on. All right. So as we are having this conversation, hello, everyone. So I'm using my Pretty Rich palette. I don't know. I'm just going to do a basic look. This is pretty much about the conversation that I want to have. For those of you that weren't here before, yes, I talked about Nikkietutorials and how awful it is that someone thought that it would be a good idea to blackmail her into coming out and telling her truth about being a transgender. And that's kind of not cool. And then the conversation definitely went on to Lori Harvey and Future. And again, as a parent of a young girl Lori's age, I can tell you straight up, like a lot of people, you have two different people. Some people are like, girl, live your life. And then you have some people that are like, she's stupid. At the end of the day, Lori is a whole adult. She know exactly what she getting into. And that's just that. I want to have a conversation. The bigger picture for me is, okay, let's say she is being stupid. Let's say Future really is not, from what we can see, Future is not the most loyal person. He is not the most responsible person from what it appears. Okay. I don't know. I'll be the first to say I don't know, but from what it appears like. So if that's the darn conversation, what is it about our daughters that is attracting guys like a Future? And if you, again, we've been there, done that. Bad boy. Do you have conversations? If you have a daughter, if you're a young person, and you know, do you talk to your friends about making good choices in dudes? Image, you know. So again, I'm just talking Miss Nikkietutorials, and my bottom line with that is no one should be forced to come out as anything. Whether it is I'm coming out as a cheater, because I talked about that, you know, just how Kevin Hart was forced to come out as a cheater because of blackmail and stuff like that. Like, no one should be forced to come out as anything because of blackmail. Okay. I would hope that people would be able to, I'm gonna fix this light. People would have some sort of moral compass about themselves, you know, to confess to certain situations if that's what they need to do. But and I'm not saying Nikki, I'm talking more so about a Kevin Hart situation, not necessarily Nikkietutorials. But because there's nothing to confess as far as that concerned, unless, you know, it's a situation, like I said, where like I don't agree where, you know, individuals should be presenting themselves one way while they're dating and then just boom bust out with like, oh, I'm a whole male or I'm a whole female. Like this is the way I was born. Okay. So again, at the end of the day, no one should be, this lighting is working my nerves. I have the window open over there. No one should be, I'm going to switch. Well, so I went in with, I'm just talking away, forgetting. So I went in with, what's this one? It's designer, which is sort of like a cream base. And then now I'm going to go in with it's cashmere, which is my favorite color in this palette. And again, I'm in my Pretty Rich palette. I typically will play in my Jackie Aina palette because I am absolutely obsessed with that palette. I think it's one of the better ones that Anastasia created. And to find out my review, click one of the videos below. So again, no one deserves to be outed like that. You know, that's not okay. That's not okay. I don't care what you feel about transgender people, or anything like that. Like, that's literally not okay. And what else is going on in these celebrity streets? Of course, Jeffree Star and his boyfriend broke up. And I watched that video. And then, well, I was watching the house tour. That house is insane. That house is absolutely insane. And so it's going to be interesting to see, okay, what's going to happen to the house? What's going to happen to the car? Like, he just bought him a car the other day, just bought him a car, and that car is bad. And I don't know. I'm just here, regular smuggler, degler mom who likes to play in makeup and talk, just talk. And so just to do a little recap, We talked a little bit about Miss Lori Harvey. And I guess what I'm saying is, you know, at the end of the day, don't be so hard, number one, on Lori, because young and dumb, you know, we've all been young and dumb. And unfortunately, a lot of people are living out their young and dumb on social media. That's the problem. So bear with me for a second. I think I'm going to go close that shade because it is way too much light. And because I'm a little OCD, I'm going to take this, not OCD. I am not OCD. I'm going to cover that up because I just have on yoga pants. I'm going to try to fix this lighting. But I don't think y'all want to see me in yoga pants. Everyday mom wear. Everyday mom wear. All right. So, let's see. Probably won't make, oh, it does. I was going to say probably won't make much of a difference, but it did. All right. So you just got to kind of love on your young adults and just be like, you're going to look back one day and be like, hopefully she'll look back one day and be like, how could I have been so stupid? And again, in Future's defense, I don't know Future from a can of paint. I could just go by what it looks like. And it looks like Mr. Future is a handful. That's what it looks like to me. So, again, thank you guys for tuning in. I am just giving my opinion on some of the latest and oh, what about the Royals? What do you guys think about that? I'm not seeing any chat. Let me see. I'm not seeing any chat on that on my end. If anybody's talking, view, enter full screen. Nope, I'm not getting any chat. Wait. I don't know. But anybody that knows me knows I'll sit here and talk to myself. But anyway, the Royals. So there's been a lot of speculation. You know, at first they came out and they're like, hey, we want to be more independent. And I personally think it's about her safety and their family safety. And I cannot blame him for that. And I'm telling you, if you look at the comment section of any article that's given just kind of shows, number one, the racism in the world and just the complete ignorance of it all. Like, you know, you have some people that are like, oh, I don't even want to, I'm not even rehashing what they said because it's mean and it's ignorant. But I personally think, obviously, he knows what's at stake. Like, he lost his mom because of this stuff, because of the media, paparazzi, that whole thing. And I don't know if you saw a video from Meghan Markle well, she's not Markle anymore, but Meghan did an interview with someone and she was nearly in tears because the guy asked her, how are you doing? And she was just so shook that the guy was so concerned about how she was doing. She was like, no one's ever asked me that before. And I'm telling you, like, I don't know how much of that lifestyle is healthy in that regard, but also a lot for someone who, number one, let's just face it, Harry was not someone that was like compliant with what was going on as a royal. Like, he was not a common royal. Like, he wasn't a traditional royal. Like, he broke tradition in a lot of ways. Just for the fact of who he married, number one. But, you know, you would see him doing stuff that you would never see any royal doing. And so I'm going in with like a cute little soft pink. It's called Highly Selective. And so for me, I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised at all because Harry never did anything that was traditional for a royal. But, you know, when looking at the comments, oh my gosh, I'm like, people are so ignorant. And one of the comments that I saw, somebody said, and I think that's it for this look. Like let me turn the light down so you can see a little bit. There you go. So for those of you that are just tuning in, I got people coming and going. I don't even know what that means. I don't really care. I don't really care because this is my space on the interwebs. My little 5 minutes of fame. My little 5 minutes of fame. But anyway, I don't know. I know that number one, I saw one of the comments, somebody was like, well, didn't she know what she was getting into? And here's the thing, like, in her defense, I'm pretty sure Meghan knew, like, hey, my life is about to change forever. But at the end of the day, the reality is, who can predict how, okay, I think I have a feeling y'all want me to try this. This is my second time trying it. So let me give you a backstory. I have lashes that I'm going to try. And they're cheap. And the reason why they're cheap is because I have fought with so many expensive lashes and everything. And at this point in my life, I just use fiber lashes. Now, what are fiber lashes? I use the unique brand fiber lashes, but I also have other brands right here. I have other brands also. And basically what it is that when you look in Sephora and everything, they call them eye primers. And that's little fibers. And what you'll do is you'll put your mascara on, use this, put it on, and your eyes become instantly voluminous. And that's what I like to do. Because I have not met a lash, number one. I haven't met a lash that I like. Because some of them they're just a bit much for me, to put it nicely. They're just... And I have a video out on that. And I'm actually editing another one talking about, it's me trying on a different pair of lashes. But in that video, I also let you guys know that I had this pair also laying in wait for me to put on. So, so here we go. Live and in color on a stream. I've already failed. Oh, and gave the results of it, but y'all can guess that. Like it don't take nobody, a rocket scientist, to know that I did not put those lashes on. And so the backstory with the other lashes were a lash that had a very thin band. And so, I'm about to ruin these already. Yep, these ain't gonna work. I can tell you, oh Lord, they're so sticky. What? So these are the lashes. They're so, I'm gonna just try. So this is the right eye. So the thing with the other lashes that I had, they were a very thin band. And so when I showed my daughter, look what I found. These are, they were the perfect size. And so I showed my daughter and she was like, you're gonna have a hard time putting those lashes on. So I come upstairs, try them on, not on camera, boom, put them on immediately. So I was like, oh, I'm so excited. Let me do a video. The next day I do a video. Of course, guess what? Could not get it on, ruined them, whatever, threw them away, could not wear the lashes. So when I showed her these, she was like, okay, these you may be able to do because they have a thicker band. And I was like, what's the difference? So now here I am with the second pair, and I'm going to attempt to put them on. I already know, knowing me, I am going to continue to wear my fiber lashes because I like the fiber lashes personally. It's just easier and more convenient. And I think it's a more natural look than the lashes. But anyway, so here we are live on a live. And, okay. I didn't put any glue because the last time I put the glue on, it was just a hot mess. In my eyes, okay. Okay. No, I probably should put glue on. Y'all are probably like, why don't she put glue on? Because they said it was pre-glued. Okay. I'm probably supposed to have glue on here, huh? There we go. Like, I'm doing this with y'all. Nope. Fun fact about me. No. Fun fact, I don't have time for stuff like this. Stuff like that works my nerves. It's like I feel like I'm wasting time. I have too much stuff to do to be wasting on that. So I'm going to show you, if you haven't already seen a tutorial of me. Or one of the other things, I usually get the Better Than Sex, the waterproof, but I got this one just because it's not waterproof and hopefully it's not as hard to get off. So what I am doing is going to add mascara ever so happily. So y'all already know what happened in the last video. If I gave up that quick, whatever. So that's where we're at in America, you know? We can't be around here blackmailing people. See that? So these are the fibers. Blackmailing people to do or to come out, especially something like that. Like, I'm really happy that Nikkie did not give in to the blackmailer. Very happy for that. And even though ultimately her telling that is on her terms, wasn't on her terms, but based on being blackmailed, but at the end of the day, hopefully the way she said it, when she said it, was on her terms. So that's that, as far as that's concerned. Then we talked a little bit about R. Kelly. So that's that. The next thing I'm going to do is put a little concealer. I'm telling you, you can't really, when you're on these lives, you cannot be discouraged by the people that's coming and going. Because they come and then they go. I'll go up to 12, then I go up to 2, which is fine. Anybody that knows, like, I love creating and I love gabbing. And as long as I have, so I'm using the concealer. I've never used this. It's a sculpting concealer from Born This Way. It's very, from what I see, it's very creamy. It doesn't take much at all. Doesn't take much at all. But yeah, the R. Kelly thing is very, very sort of disheartening, because I think that people will focus more on the fact that they were fighting than the bigger picture. Which for me, the bigger picture is more important, which is, how did those girls end up there? And like, honestly, you know, just really thinking about their parents and stuff, you know, what happens when you go to the law and you're like, hey, my adult child is being handled or being kidnapped or being held, you know, held against her will. She used to call me every day and now she doesn't. And that's got to be hard on them as parents, because I'm pretty sure the law was in R. Kelly's favor. And that's the truth. The reason why is because those girls were adults. And like I said, I'm not going to blame the parents. I'm not going to blame the parents, simply because I know in my own life, big or small, your kids will do stuff, big or small, that'll have you questioning you, yourself as a parent. And so they'll make different choices in their lives that goes completely against how you raised them. And that's the truth, you know. And, you know, I think so much more is going to come out now that, is it Jocelyn? No, Ezreal. Now that Ezreal is home, so much more is going to come out. I think being home and just having that sense of normalcy, she's going to, I hope, I hope that she will be willing, like the blinders will come off. And as a result, she'll talk. Because when you look at cases like the R. Kelly and stuff like that, what's missing is people that are willing to talk. And so I asked the question earlier, how did we get here? How did they get here? How did it happen? How did they end up staying there? Because no one will talk. I think that's what ultimately the problem is. No one will talk, and he knows it. And so now that she is, so the next thing I'm going to do is add some setting powder. Which one? I'm going to give y'all some a little Bobbi Brown today. Little Bobbi Brown setting powder. Because we're on live, and I like a cute little live. I love live. Because what I'm going to do, I'm going to end this video when it's time to end it and post it. I'm just going to post it. And I don't have to worry about editing, uploading, any of that. So, you know, I think that, and it's so weird to hear her call him Rob. It's so weird. It's so interesting because, you know, your R. Kellys, they get away with stuff like that because no one will talk. So I'm hoping she talks, because from what I understand, she was, quote, one of his main girls who knows a lot. Because, yeah, they have him in jail and he's been in jail for a minute. So that tells me they have some stuff on him. But these girls have got to start talking. And the only way that that's gonna happen is if they see themselves clear of him, safe, and also no longer what's the word? Blackmail. Not blackmail, brainwash. Because that's what it is. It's manipulation. It's manipulation. And so, as I am definitely concluding this video, because it's almost an hour, and we talked about what I thought I could talk about, and I think I'm just going to follow the story. But again, for me, I think the unfortunate thing is the focus is going to be on these girls in this fight. And not really what the focus should be on, which is Mr. Robert Kelly and how those girls ended up there, how they ended up staying there that long. And I want to know, like, y'all, I will sit up here and setting powder. I will add so much setting powder. But I want to know ultimately the people that's around him, are they going to get in trouble too? I don't care about them girls fight, those two girls fight, young ladies fighting. I don't care about that because that's what's going to happen. That's a little power thing. You know, they were there picking up their things because, you know, the lease is up at the Trump Tower. And so it's like, oh, this is my place. And who do you have here? And if you saw the fight, then you know what I'm talking about. But ultimately, for me, I don't want to exploit them any more than they've already been exploited. And my question is, again, how did they get there? And now all of a sudden everybody want to come out against R. Kelly. Is it because they themselves don't want to get in trouble? Because they know the feds are on it. The feds are on it this time. You know, the feds are on it. You know, sometimes I think if they didn't have anything on him, they would have he would have been out on bail by now. Don't you think? I think so. I think he would have been out on bail by now if he didn't have anything. But fortunately, I think they have something on him. So the next thing I'm going to do, and I can't find it, I have the cute little matchsticks from Fenty Beauty, but I can't find it, and I don't have time to be holding y'all up because it's already an hour. Already an hour. All right. What am I gonna do? But ultimately, I hope that those girls get the help that they need and that the focus continues to not be them and them fighting, because they're just not clear right now. They're just not clear. They need to be working together to get him locked up and stayed locked up. But right now, it's still a power thing. I'm his favorite, you know what type stuff, which is silly when you really, really think about it. And so, you know, hopefully they'll get the help that they need. The one girl is home with her dad, and she's communicating with her family. And I think ultimately that has a lot to do with it, you know? Just having them home, having them available for a conversation, to pick up the phone and talk and stuff like that. I didn't do my eyebrows. What do I want to do? I'm going to add a highlight. I just grabbed the first one that I got to. And then I'm going to add this highlight, set my face. And then we are going to conclude this live. I just want a light, very light highlight. So that's that. That's this live. A bunch of celebrity type stuff. And I'm going to just keep watching and tuning in. You know, not necessarily, like I said, R. Kelly is not my focus. He really isn't. The bigger picture for me is those young ladies and their mental health. Hopefully, in the same manner, I was talking about Nikkietutorials. Hopefully, she is surrounded by support. Here's the darn thing right in my face. She is surrounded by support and people who, those that matter, it will matter to those that it matters to, and those that don't matter, it don't matter. And I happen to be I'm just shook, like I said, because I just couldn't tell. I could not tell. So, and I mean that with all due respect to the community. It's just like, what's the black one name? B. Scott. Can't even tell. Can't even scale. Beautiful people. But ultimately, as I stated before, no one should be forced out because they're being blackmailed and all of that. No. So I have a bad breakout. If you're a woman, then you know. You know when you know. So hopefully in a week or two, I won't have that issue. I'm just gonna do a lip, and then I will bid you guys adieu until next live, next time. Until next time, until next live. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the Nikkie tutorial thing. Like, do you think it's okay to blackmail people if you know stuff? Like, honestly, I'm sure that there's some people like, you know what? If you know something, blackmail them. If that's your thing, leave a comment down below. I would love to have a conversation with you on that. If you feel like, you know, I didn't put any eyeliner on. If you feel like, who else we talked about? The Lori Harvey thing. Everybody's on her jock for no reason. Get off of her. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about that. Are society really tripping because it's Lori Harvey, or is it tripping because it's Future? Is that what do people really have a problem with? I think people really have a problem with the fact that it's Future. You know, Lori's been living her best life with people switching, and just, to me, that's just a Hollywood thing. But I think a lot of people are tripping because it is Future, and Future has a reputation. And again, I had said, full disclaimer, I don't know Future from a can of paint, so I wouldn't know really who and what he's like. It's just what it appears to be. He just appears to be someone that I wouldn't necessarily want my daughters to end up with. But he also looks quite smitten with Lori. And it was so funny because the Shade Room had this, and it was 3 of his women, and they all shared a birthday, the birthday present that he gave them. And literally they were like walking through the room, and it was the same exact thing. And I was like, oh my God, Future, like, really? So with that being said, you know, people are giving Lori a hard time. And, you know, do you think it's because she seems to be bouncing because a couple of weeks ago she was with Diddy, or months or whatever? Or is it the fact that it's Future? And I personally tend to believe it's because it's Future. We talked about, what else we talked about? Oh, Meghan and Harry. And I think that's just an obvious, like, this dude, Harry lost his mom because of bad car accident, paparazzi, bad press. It was no secret that they were not very fond of Princess Diana. So what more? I mean, he's traumatized. Like, that's traumatizing. So what more would he want to do than to protect his wife and his kid? And I think that he is, this is not something that they just woke up last week and was like, let's just do no. Like, I think that he weighed it all, but I also think that Harry is the rebel, and Harry said, I'm out. No amount of money, you're not going to control me. I don't think they've ever been able to control Harry. I don't think they've ever been able to control Harry. Like, that, just thinking back and going back to it, like, I don't think they've ever been able to control him, and they know it. And just the way they move and operate, I don't think this was something where, oh, mean, bad Meghan, she made him do blah, 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 blah. Didn't she know what she was getting herself into and all? Like, of course she knew what she was getting into, but you can't predict how the press is going to chase you and do this and that. Like, you can't blame Meghan for how they are, like, basically making her in danger. Like, I was old enough to remember Princess Diana. I am old enough to remember when she was alive and all that was happening during that time. And literally the paparazzi, that is not safe. Like, there are some families, who I will not name, who live off the paparazzi, and they will tip off the paparazzi and, hey, we're here and there and everything else. And even in that family, it's so cute to see the youngest be like, no photos, no photos. So funny. The cutest thing ever, because it becomes intrusive. And as much as I love to see a good celebrity and to meet up with a good celebrity, I also will give them their space. But not only that, it is concerning when you have kids. Like, I don't blame them one bit. I think one side of me is like, oh, dreaming of being, you know, a royal and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if they love each other and they want to build a life together, and they want, they're choosing what's most important. That's my point. So with that being said, I'm going to spray my face again. And again, tune in to my other videos. Like I said, when I first went live, I kind of like going live because to say what I got to say and I dip out and do what I have to do. I'm actually going to be doing my nail video. If you haven't checked out any of my nail tutorial videos, please watch them. They will be down below. I do my own nails at home and I show you how to do the same thing. So with that being said, thank you for watching. I have just hopefully you enjoyed this live. If you are just tuning in, hey, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment down below. Again, let's just remember that the bigger conversation is not always about the celebrities, but the bigger conversation is about what is the impression that we're leaving on each other? What is the impression that we're leaving on the earth? And so, or just with the human experience, shall I say. So I think the bigger picture for sure, with all these different things I've laid out, definitely with Nikkie, no one should be blackmailing anybody to do anything. The R. Kelly thing, that's a whole nother giant that we can continue to talk about. And I think we will continue to talk about. I just wanted to come on and say my piece about that. So without further ado, thanks for watching. And I hope you have a great week. Hope you enjoyed this look. It was just the quickest, simplest look. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Goodbye.